Thank you, Caitlin. Yes, you see it there. The track is almost dry. All of our drivers, our teams, cars, they are lined up and ready to go. 34 drivers in the field. There's Brittany Zamora. We have 3 ladies in the field, and there she is. She's starting on the front row. Gracie Trotter. A lot has been talked about this young woman and people's expectations for her.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I think a lot of people expect a lot of things out of her, as well as the other females, and so many great stories in this field too. Kind of one of my sentimental favorites is maybe Rich Bickle. He's going to turn 60 years old this year. He's a longtime NASCAR competitor. He won the Snowball Derby 5 times, one of our biggest short track races. He said, this is his last year. I'm going to try to do as much racing as I can. And he's starting up towards the front. He has a shot to win this race.
40th year of racing, the stories he could tell. But Chase Briscoe, I'll bring you in here. Who are you looking at today?
I think obviously the favorite today has to be Ty Gibbs. You know, won so many races last year. He's got a really, really good race car. So for me, Ty Gibbs is going to be the guy that I think is going to be the guy to beat today.
Well, Ty Gibbs, he has been a winning machine every time he gets in the car. He is a threat to win. 8 wins, that's twice as many as anybody else in the field.
And his plan for the year is already set out. He's going to run the full ARCA Menards schedule, and also will run some Xfinity races for Joe Gibbs Racing later on in the year. So it's obviously a bright future for that young man. And he's a good kid, too. Comes from a great family, obviously.
So much confidence. And last year, he just wasn't old enough to run the super speedways, or he would have ran for the championship. But that's what he's going for this year. He's a lot of fun. Definitely want to watch him. He's starting mid-pack, so we're looking forward to seeing that as he's getting his helmet and everything ready. We're excited because a couple hours ago, Phil, we weren't sure that we would actually be racing.
I mean, it literally 2 hours ago was pouring the rain. We look and say, okay, what are we going to do? What are we going to do this race? We have the Xfinity race later on today, but then the skies cleared like they usually do sometimes. I tell people all the time, if we would have stayed home, every time they call for rain, we'd have missed a lot of races over the years. So it's going to be a great day, and it's going to be such a great field of cars here. And we talk about Ty Gibbs. There's Drew Dollar's car on the pole here. Drew Dollar finished 3rd in this race last year, won at Talladega. Another young man is going to run some truck races for KBM. Actually ran last night for KBM, had a great run going, ended up finishing around 10th in the top 10. So good job for him. And I think another guy I want to keep an eye on is another 18-year-old, another winner here in the ARCA Menards Series from last year, Corey Heim. He only ran 3 races, but he won Kansas the finale. Earned him a shot at running for the championship here in that Toyota for Venturini. So that's going to be a great battle all year long.
Well, Corey Heim certainly one to watch. 3 races earned his way. He got a shot to go full-time with Venturini Motorsports. And you see it, drivers are climbing aboard. Helmets, Hans devices are going on. We have so much action coming to you from Daytona. Stick around.
2020, a year we will never forget for so many reasons. But here comes 2021, and it's making plenty of noise already. New drivers, new tracks, and the team up in the broadcast booth all new. Oh, and with a little help from a former series champion. Strap in for 80 laps of you never know what's next. This is Daytona. This is the ARCA Menards Series. This is FS1.
To the Lucas Oil 200, presented by General Tire. Well, as you see there, the skies have cleared, the track is dry, and we have cars, we have drivers ready to go, and we are thrilled to welcome in the 2016 ARCA Menards Series champion. Let's take a look at Chase Briscoe from Mitchell, Indiana. He is a Hoosier. Been racing since he was a little man, and he has climbed the ranks. The ARCA Menards Series champion right there. Moved up to the Xfinity Series where he won 9 times last year, and that earned him a spot in the NASCAR Cup Series. His beautiful wife, Marissa, and their 2 adorable fur babies. Hey, Chase, welcome into the booth. First off, I have to congratulate you. You got the promotion. Your first Daytona 500 is tomorrow. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. I'm certainly excited. Congratulations to you as well. It's awesome to be up here for such a historic day, and looking forward to an awesome day of racing.
You know, Phil, he's a perfect example of what this series is all about. It's a developmental series. They want to start the kids young, then they climb the ladder, and eventually, hopefully, they make it to the Cup Series. What are we looking at in this field? There's a lot of youth.
We have 15 drivers, Jamie, that was exactly where Chase was 5 years ago, making their first ever start at Daytona. And all of them have aspirations of being where Chase is. They want to get to that Cup level. But on the other hand, we have drivers making maybe their final start of their final year here at Daytona. And we have Vinny Chastain, who's 78 years old, that has the same dream as all these young drivers to race at Daytona.
Such a mix here. All right, Chase, so who's your pick? Who are you watching today?
I'm going to go with Ty Gibbs. I think he's the guy that last year won the most races. Obviously, he's full-time this year. But then another one, I'm going to keep my eye on Sean Corr. He's got a lot of experience here as well.
Well, you just mentioned it. The 18-year-old in the 18 full-time this year, Ty Gibbs. He was part-time last year simply because he wasn't old enough to run all of the racetracks. This was one of them. Let's take a look back at Ty Gibbs 2020. Every time he straps into that car, he is a threat to win. Here's a look back at some of his wins. Now this year, though, he will be at every race going for the championship. Moments ago, he caught up with our Kate Osborne.
He turns 18, and it's like they take the reins off. Ty Gibbs won 6 events last year, but he still feels like he has something to prove. Ty, this is one of those things that championship hunting begins now. How have you prepared for the biggest stage and one that you haven't yet won here at Daytona?
You know, I feel like we've been working really hard off of the offseason. I've been training a lot, getting ready for these difficult races, and the temperatures that we've got right now, it's actually pretty cool, so it'll be nice. But you know, I'm ready for this year. We've got a great crew, and you know, our Monster Energy Camry is going to be bad fast this year, and I'm excited. And I just want to tell everybody thank you all for watching and tuning into the ARCA race today, and hopefully we end up in victory lane.
You say victory lane. In order to get there, you have to be comfortable on the whole track, including drafting. Who have you picked as your draft partner?
You know, there's a lot of people I would choose right now. You know, it's hard not having teammates, but it's going to be a good experience for me. Kind of have to work with people, and you know, hopefully me and Holmes are going to be able to roll to the front.
Ty Gibbs, a rookie here at Daytona, but definitely not a rookie out on any of these tracks. Guys.
Well, Ty Gibbs there said he doesn't have teammates, but he does have some good friends around him starting mid-pack, so watch for him to work with maybe other manufacturers just because he knows those guys.
And when you have a fast car, people want to be your friend, so he's going to have a lot of people that want to run with him because that car's so fast.
He is so confident, but I know the nerves are there. Daytona is a big deal. His grandfather, Coach Gibbs, will be watching. Let's go trackside now for the Command.
From the crossroads of America, Indianapolis, from one motorsports capital to the other. Come on, everybody, say it with me. Drivers, start your engines!
Engines are fired. 34 drivers ready to do work for 80 laps. Plenty more action coming from Daytona. We'll drop the green flag after this. 2020 saw 9 different winners head to victory lane in 20 races. Pretty good odds, but it was the man right there on the left, Ty Gibbs, a 6-time winner. Brett Holmes in the middle, 1 win, but it was good enough. He took home the championship. Corey Heim full-time this season in the 20 car, had 1 win last year, and he only ran 3 times. That's pretty good odds. As the cars roll off the grid, let's take a look back at earlier today, 8:30 this morning, bright and early. These guys got up to speed. It was pole qualifying. There's Gracie Trotter leading that pack in the 25. In the 15, Drew Dollar was the man that put down the fastest time. As you take a look at this General Tire starting grid, let's go ahead and talk to our pole sitter. Phil, dial up Drew Dollar.
Let's do it. Hey, Drew Dollar, Phil Parsons, Jamie Little in the Fox booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir, I got you.
Or Drew, last year you finished 3rd here. A great first time at Daytona, and you were disappointed. Then you came back and won at Talladega. How about today? What's your thoughts?
We're going to go lead all 80 laps and win this one. That's the plan. Just trying to keep this the Sunbelt Rental Camry out front and be there at the end and hopefully have a shot at winning it this time.
You guys have some potent teammates there with the 3 other Venturini cars. Do you have a plan to work together? You guys plan to work together with your teammates, Drew? He's probably talking to his crew chief right now. We'll check back with him later.
Well, there's a lot of yellow bumpers in the field, and that means one thing: Rookie of the Year candidates. Let's take a look now at our Bounty Rookie of the Year contenders. Gracie Trotter on the front row, starting second today. She's one of those. Look at that list. A lot of good cars in there. Tony Breidinger.
A lot of talented drivers in this lineup as well.
And Gracie Trotter, as I mentioned, in the number 25 for Venturini Motorsports, in the same car that won a year ago. Let's dial her up, Phil.
Hey, Gracie Trotter, Phil Parsons, Jamie Little in the Fox booth. You got a copy? Hey, Gracie, Phil Parsons, Jamie Little in the Fox booth. You got a copy?
You're on 2 here, Phil. Go to 1.
Hey, Gracie, Phil Parsons, Jamie Little in the Fox booth. You got a copy?
Got a copy.
That's great. Hey, we just talked to your teammate, Drew Dollar. He said he's going to lead all 80 laps and win the race, Gracie. That doesn't leave much room for you.
Say that again.
Your teammate, Drew Dollar, said he was going to lead all 80 laps. And I know you have other ideas than that, right?
I'm here to win the race.
Well, you've done a great job so far. You've got a great car, great team behind you. Good luck today.
Thank you, Phil. Got a good crew behind me, and I've never been so nervous in my life. But I'm telling myself to relax. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, the nerves will go away when that green flag drops. Good luck, girl.
For sure. Thank you, Phil.
And they had a little bit of practice time yesterday, qualifying this morning, but dropped that green flag. They haven't had much other experience here. Well, let's check in with the other 2 members of our broadcast team. We'll kick it off with Miss Kate Osborne.
Jamie, it is good to have you on the team. Of course, a new year for many people, including some of these drivers. 15 of the 34 drivers have never raced here at Daytona. So a lot of firsts. And talking with Gracie Trotter, actually, before she got in the car, she said that she's a bit nervous, as we heard, but also it's because she's never run an aero before. She's never been in drafting, and she also doesn't quite know the feeling with the comfort of G-forces. That's something that seems a little bit surprising. She said it feels like her legs are being pushed down to the earth. Kevin Reed, her crew chief, says she is a very quick learner. And then in additional, we're talking to Howie DiSavino III, and he said for him, he's 145 pounds, and those G-forces are like a 250-pound man pushing down on his shoulders. So as these drivers are really learning the track, there's also a lot that goes in outside of that as well. Okay, it's time now to get to the 4th member of our team, Jamie Howe.
Thanks, Kate. You know, we've talked a lot about all of the rookies in the field. Certainly there is a lot of inexperience, but this is ARCA racing, so we have to mix it in with the drivers that have been here before, the ones who know what to do. And those drivers tell me if they could pass on one piece of advice to these rookies, the word they would use would be patience. These are 80 laps that we have to get through. You can't win this race unless you're there for the checkered flag. They're hoping everybody can stay calm, maintain their sense about them, and get to the end of this race, hopefully all in one piece.
Thank you, Jamie. Yes, patience is the name of the game, but hard to do for so many of these young drivers. Let's listen to some of these young guys who are facing Daytona for the first time.
It's kind of hard not to be, but at the same time, I'm cautiously optimistic going into this race, and I'm excited for what it'll bring.
That's like one of the places I feel like I've always wanted to kind of run it. Be able to go out there and run and everybody watching, it's gonna be a pretty cool experience for myself.
I am looking forward to the Daytona race. I think that after preseason testing that we had really, really fast cars, and I think that we got a good shot going into it.
Well, tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern, head over to the ARCA Menards Series Twitter page at ARCA_racing to vote on what moment you think was today's sweep move of the race presented by Reese's. one of my favorite candies, Phil, and we're happy to welcome them to the ARCA series this year.
There's going to be a lot of opportunity for people to vote and a lot of options for these people by the time we get done with this 80 laps.
Chase, I'm curious. We heard from some of the young drivers just what it's like to be in that car for the first time. What is the feeling of the G-force when you're in a car here?
Well, there's quite a bit. I rode with the Thunderbirds on Thursday, and I can assure you that it is nothing like that. But the
Did you use the bag? I want to know if you used the bag.
No, I was good. I didn't throw up. I didn't pass out. But yeah, the G-forces are, you know, a real thing, especially the first race of the year. You know, your body's just not in that race shape. So this place will definitely do it to you. And that's one thing, you know, I noticed. I remember the first time coming here is just how much it wants to move your legs to the right side. So it's something that they'll get used to as they go along. But yeah, I'm excited to get going today. This is always one of my favorite races to watch all year long.
Let's take a look at our race analysis. This race is 80 laps long, 200 miles in length. Our first race here was back in 1964. Nelson Stacy won that race. We're going to have a competition caution around lap 43. They will be able to come in and change 4 tires and fuel. Only 4 crew members over the wall. But then they can do the fuel and tires separately. They cannot do it simultaneously, and they will retain their position. But getting ready to start this thing, Jamie.
All right, the pace car took that hard left. 34 cars lined up. 80 laps to come. Green flag is out. True Dollar leads up.
Right, 3 on the 35. He was sleeping. 25 is going to get down behind you. One back to the 25. Just drag back here. Drag back a little bit. Close this gap up for me so they don't get a big run. There you go. Just warm up for the 25. We'll be all right.
Great illustration of how important the spotters are here. I know Chase can attest to that. A spotter here does more work than anywhere else we go to.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the one place, in specifically this series, I think the spotter is such a big deal. There's so many, you know, people out there with experience. They've never been on a super speedway. And I know for me, I had Stevie Reeves my first race here, and I think he's doing Jack Wood today. And that'll be huge, just having that experienced spotter up there to really kind of guide you along the way.
Really nice start for True Dollar. Got a good jump, and then Gracie Trotter immediately dropped down on the bottom behind him. Greg Van Alst. I don't know if you know this story, Chase, but he's from Anderson, Indiana, has his own construction company, fence company, and he does it for one reason and one reason only, so he can come here and race.
He qualified 3rd, and I went down right after qualifying and talked to him. I said, was it worth the last 20 years? Because that's been his odyssey. He raced 20 years ago here in this series 2 or 3 times. He said, I've got to get back there. I've got to get back there the right way. He said, absolutely every second of that 20 years was worth it.
He and his buddies building this car. There's a lot of those stories throughout this field, and that's what's so fun about the ARCA Menards series. We could talk about the 18-year-olds, the 19-year-olds, but you've got 50s and 60-year-olds that all they wanted to do their whole racing life was to be here at Daytona and race something.
And their teams are all volunteer help. They have the professional teams like the Veteranis, but there's so many of these teams that just have part-time help, guys that work on these cars at night, and here they are racing at Daytona.
Chase, it's kind of interesting. We've got a pack of 4 out front, but then we've got side-by-side action mid-pack.
Yeah, it seems like the ARCA race typically it always kind of migrates to the bottom, where in the Cup race, the Xfinity race, you kind of see his work to the top. But for whatever reason, the ARCA cars, it seems like they can't really get the momentum up there. And I think some of it, too, is just the inexperience in the field. But, yeah, so far the second lane is actually holding up pretty well here.
Let's check in with Jamie.
A problem right now for the driver of that number 34, Brittany Zamora. She's on the radio with her team, telling them that the temp is getting high. They're telling her if it gets any hotter, they're going to have to come to pit lane next time by. So this early in the race, certainly not a problem they want to be facing.
Not at all. We're 2 laps into 80 here. They're keeping an eye on Brittany Zamora's engine.
You see that blue number 55 car leading that outside line. That's Derek Griffith. He's moved over to the Venturini camp, really doing a nice job. He has the 01 black car of Chuck Harris behind him. There's Tanner Gray, the 17, also in that outside line. These guys have hung in there pretty well. You see right now that Griffith is side by side with Rich Bickle, the 4th running car on the inside.
Tanner Gray in the 17. He had a tough go of it in the truck series last night. Didn't even make it to the start line, and his truck was dead, so he didn't get to race. So this is off to a good start so far for him.
Take a look at that 21 car. Bottom of your screen. He got a little bit loose there. That's Sean Core, the 8 car behind him. A little bit loose. Nice save there for Jack Wood. Again, another one of those drivers making his first start here at Daytona.
His driver coach is Here's Ryan Reed, who won here in the Xfinity Series a couple of times. He told me this morning he was so nervous, just the first time for anybody to run here. Well, we're 4 laps in. We have so much more racing action to come. Drew Dollar is your leader. Welcome back to Daytona. It's the Lucas Oil 200 driven by General Tire. Well, just moments ago, Jack Wood's spotter on the radio.
When that guy moves, you don't move. You stay on that yellow line. You don't try and follow him when he gets up there. You got to stay on that yellow line. You got guys next to you. They're going to hook you. Stay there. When he moves around like that, you stay on that yellow line. You only follow him when you need to. See how he's getting up there? You got room to get under him sometimes, and people will think that. You just stay tight with him here.
Chase, did you hear something similar in your debut here?
Yeah, just like it. Same spotter, actually had the same crew chief, everything. So that definitely sounds familiar. And Stevie was making a great point. You know, as that line continues to snake, you know, you have such a tendency to want to follow it up, and you're starting leaving that yellow line. And, you know, truthfully, I was behind Will Kimmel, and he really showed me the ropes in my race here in 2016 to just how if you start leaving that line, it's so easy to fill that hole up, and then you're going to get shuffled. So, yeah, that sounds super familiar. It feels like just yesterday. So it's pretty neat to see, you know, Jack Wood now going through it. And it's just going to take time and repetitions to really learn that.
Jack Wood, the 20-year-old out of Loomis, California, kind of near Sacramento, so Northern California driver. Let's get an update on our leader. Here's Kate.
The pole sitter of Drew Dollar, obviously running fast out there and feeling like he's in control, but it wasn't always the case. In practice yesterday, that car shut off with electrical issues, and all of the Venturini teams were on board to get that fixed. You know, Chase, this is one thing that I'd love your insight on, is he said he's stoked to get back in an ARCA car because after running in the trucks last night, he feels he can kind of handle anything out there that the ARCA car might throw at him. How different is that handling between these trucks and the ARCA cars?
Yeah, that's a great question. And the trucks, to me at least, feel like they moved around quite a bit more. And, you know, truthfully, too, the trucks are a little more wild, I feel like, the whole race. And that was almost really big there with the 29. But, yeah, you know, the trucks definitely move around. I feel like it does make it a lot easier coming back to the ARCA car for sure.
Big moment for the 29 of Derek Lancaster there. Nice save. Little loose on the bottom of that racetrack.
Uh-oh. Oh, trouble.
Thad Moffitt spins on the infield, and we have more wrecking.
This is the 45 for Rich Bickle. Some damage. There's Thad's left rear quarter panel. I don't think there's a tremendous amount of damage. We saw the tire smoke there from Thad's car. I'm sure they can get that beat out.
Thad Moffitt talked this morning about how good this car was. The grandson of the great Richard Petty. I know he's watching. He's actually sitting on the 43 Cup hauler watching this race. Probably shaking his head right now. Maybe they can get that car fixed and get back out there. But Rich Bickle, talked about him early in the show. 40th year of racing. Unfortunate to see him caught up there.
Yeah, not a lot of damage to Rich's car either. Let's see what happens here. There's the 46, 45 running side by side. You see Dave Mader, like Chase was talking, Dave Mader moved up a little bit. I think Thad thought about going through the middle, and then the hole closed up. He made contact with Rich in the 45 car.
Let's take a look on board. What do you see here, Chase?
Yeah, so right here, I mean, you can only see, obviously, the 63's tail bumper, and, you know, they're starting moving around. It's one of those deals you moved up, and you think you can fill that hole, and once you get there, you know, just the air coming off both cars, and it just closed up. So, fortunately, you know, there wasn't more cars that were caught up in that, but, yeah, that's just part of racing here. Every time you come here, you're going to have situations like that.
Let's take one more look.
See, the 63 of Mader also had a little bit of contact, saved his car.
Jack Wood was almost in trouble there, was able to save it. Thad Moffitt, what a performance a year ago. Started in the back, drove his way through the field, had high hopes. There's another look at it. We've seen this multiple times. Chase, you were involved. The duels, I mean, you're going for it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's one of those things, you know, a lot of these guys have never done this before, so it's going to take, you know, making a mistake, honestly, to learn from. And that's what happened to me Thursday night in the duels. So as bad as that almost was going to be, I think everybody honestly came out of that pretty well.
Thad Moffitt was running 10th when that happened. Now keep in mind, very limited pit stops in this series. They just have 2 sets of tires in the pits. trying to get that right front tightened up. Rich Bickle getting back out. That's good news for the 45.
Yeah, like Chase said, I don't think there's a tremendous amount of damage to any of the cars that were involved.
Which you don't see a whole lot at Daytona. All right, we will get back to green flag action. We're 11 laps into 80. Stay tuned. We'll see how Thad Moffitt can come back. The Daytona 500 is your chance to win $25,000 of Clint Boyer's money with the Fox Bet Super 6 app. It's easy. Just download the app and pick the finishing position of 6 drivers by tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. Eastern for your shot to win. It's free to play. Don't miss out and play now. So let me get this straight. You get it right, $25,000 from Clint Boyer.
You know, he doesn't like to give up that money very easily either.
I'll take it.
That's trouble there.
Thad Moffitt came down pit road, got it fixed up.
There's Ty Gibbs. He's the Bounty Rookie Spotlight on board. Ty right now running in the 14th position.
The 20 of Corey Heim, the JBL onboard camera, running full-time this year. Really nice kid.
Brett Holmes, this is General Tire on board. Brett Holmes, the Southern States Bank Chevrolet, our defending champion here in the ARCA Menards series.
And the hardest working on board so far, Thad Moffitt in the 46. He has the Richmond water heaters on board. We thank all of those sponsors for coming on board. Let's get an update on the 21 with Jamie.
And that's Jack Wood behind the wheel. Unfortunately, he had to make a call to pit lane following some contact at the right front of that car. So he did fall towards the back of the pack. Lucky for him, there's not a whole lot of damage. It doesn't seem to be affecting the handling at this point in the game. Of course, we are still under caution, so that could change once we get up to speed. Kate?
Tough it out is all Mike Herman was telling Gracie Trotter, and that's actually about the air conditioning, as that's actually gone out in her car. She says she holds down the button a couple of seconds and it turns off right away. But going back to Mike Herman, never had spotted for her before, but she did listen to him 3 different times this week as he was on the call for a couple of different drivers here. She said he talks fast, but Daytona is fast-paced, and she's trying to soak in everything he is saying. Take a listen.
Double red line there, so he's supposed to go hit that line. So I'll count you down from that line. 10, 5, and then it's ready, ready, ready. Just look at that like you're drag racing, like it's a Christmas tree. So just be ready to go. Give me another good start like you did on the original.
So after the 3rd, ready, go.
Yep.
Yeah, and what they're talking about there is just trying to time the start. You know, that first start, you kind of saw the 2 leaders got away, and you see it all the time here. You can't pull away from the pack, especially with only 2 cars. So it's just such a rubber band effect, and they're just trying to time it better for both those team cars up front so they can really control the rest of the race.
You go to a short track, and you would love to have that huge lead.
Yeah.
Here, it's not your friend.
Yeah, huge disadvantage at a place like this, and Mike Herman does an incredible job spotting. He does all of Roush Fenway stuff, and a guy that I always have tried to listen to just because I think he's so good at spotting. So Gracie's definitely in good hands today.
And I think the important thing to remember is that most of these drivers in the ARCA Menards series will use Cup spotters here for this race. We talked about Stevie Reeves and then Mike Herman Jr. So many of the good Cup spotters are out helping these ARCA drivers today.
It's great. It's a win-win situation for them because those spotters have been working all week long. We had the duels, we had the clash, so truck race, they all spot for multiple series, so it really helps everybody out.
And one thing that's different this year than years past is, you know, typically the ARCA race is the first race of the week, so they don't get the chance to listen, and that's what they were talking about a second ago with Gracie. You know, she's been able to listen to the truck race, the Cup races, so that's something that, as a young driver, just being able to listen to your spotter before you even hit the racetrack, I feel like would be a huge advantage this year versus years past.
So Gracie Trotter, we were down here for the test, Phil and myself, and we got to talk to Gracie after her first run ever in the car. She's a tiny little thing, like barely 5 feet tall. She said her legs went numb in the corners from the G-forces.
It'll do it. It is no joke. I mean, at a place like this, especially, you know, she's only ran short tracks growing up, so there's nothing on the short track level, obviously, it's anything like this. And, just the banking under caution, the G's that you do experience under green, it's very eye-opening the first couple times you do it. And once she gets used to it, she's going to run a lot more races on places like this. It'll be a lot easier. But, yeah, the first couple times, it's definitely intimidating, to say the least.
What would you pull here? Maybe 2.5, 3 G's, Chase, would you guess?
Yeah, probably 3, 3.5. A lot more if you wreck, that's for sure. But, yeah, I would say right around 3 to 4, maybe.
How many did you pull when you flew with the Thunderbirds the other day?
We did 9. So apparently your body can't do more than 9.5 in the plane. We did 9, and I don't know if I'd want to do much more anyways.
There they are back there, going to do the flyover tomorrow for the Daytona 500.
They're unbelievable. I got to fly with them one time years ago. Hey, now this is the kind of action I like to see under caution. For all the dog lovers out there, this is the infield. This pup, I don't know how long he's been chasing this Frisbee, but it's been entertaining.
He hasn't missed one yet.
Chase, I was saying, you're two Frenchies. Nah, no thanks. They don't do this kind of thing.
Well, our oldest, Ricky, he's all about it. He'll play fetch 24/7. The other one, Callie, she is not a play animal at all. Just wants to lay and cuddle all day. Yeah, that would be Callie right there.
Oh, all right, they are lined up.
Gracie had one of her teammates behind her, the 55 of Derek Griffith.
He's come into the fold here. Drew Dollar has led every lap so far, continues to lead. Gracie Trotter on the outside. Pace car is off. Green flag is in the air.
What a nice job by Gracie that time on this restart. Staying right even, actually a little bit ahead of her teammate Drew Dollar.
Yeah, I think she might want to get down here, though. She gets the opportunity. I feel like that first run, we really saw that second lane kind of prevail, or at least hold its own. I don't know if they're going to have the numbers here this time around, but she's going to have a really good push here by Derek Griffith, so that's definitely going to help.
Let's give a call to the 0-1-2 of Chuck Hires. He's only raced 5 times in his career. He's 61 years old. 4 of those starts have been here at Daytona, doing an outstanding job.
He had a decent run here last year. Now he finds himself running up there in the top 5.
His crew chief is David Ift, who used to crew chief me and my brother.
At Nick Sanchez in the 2 car, running 6th right now. Nick is the 19-year-old for Rev Racing. Came up through the NASCAR Drive for Diversity program.
What an outstanding program. Some of the graduates of Kyle Larson and Bubba Wallace, people like that we'll see tomorrow.
Haley Deegan,
another one, exactly. Yeah.
Haley Deegan finished 2nd in this race a year ago, highest ever finish for a woman at this racetrack. She's now moved up to the Truck Series full-time.
There's the 18 monster car of Ty Gibbs. He's drafting behind another 20-year-old, Corey Heim. These guys will battle it out all year long for the series championship.
Ty Gibbs running 13th right now. And Jamie Howe mentioned at the top of the show in her pit whip, and she talked about patience, that they keep telling that to these young kids. And Gracie Trotter said something interesting, Chase. She said, all the short track racing I do, you don't think about patience. It's go hard every lap, constantly. And here's a completely different thing.
Yeah, when we go short track racing, there's tire saving and all these things. And here you have to save the car to a certain extent, but you have to be up front, especially in these ARC races. It seems like it's so hard to go to the back and get back to the front, just with how the draft and all these things work. But she got the lead from the top, so that was definitely impressive. But yeah, it's just go from here on out. They have to have a pit stop at about halfway and get the fuel, but she's in the best situation right now. Being in the lead, you can really control this race. Her spotter's going to help that, and she's got 2 great teammates behind her as well.
Let's get an update on Derek Griffith with Jamie.
Running in the top 3, Derek Griffith, after qualifying, said it was stimulus overload. He said he just felt like a sponge, still trying to soak up everything. He spent a lot of time talking to his spotter, Eddie DeHaan. He's Chase Elliott's spotter. He said he's been very helpful, just talking him around what to expect on the banking and the draft, what it feels like to be pushed and to push. So he's still trying to learn all of that, figure it out, but it really looks like, watching him on our monitor, that he's settling into a little bit of a rhythm here on lap 20.
He probably has as much experience this week racing in Florida as anybody. He's racing over at New Smyrna in the World Series. He's leading the points over there. He won the championship last year. They have their finale tonight.
And he has a full-time job. He runs the company back at home. home has a new sponsor, Spot On, that came on board for this year. Always nice to see new sponsors coming into this sport. We're 19 laps of 18. We'll be back in a few moments. ARCA Racing on FS1 is brought to you by Bounty, the quicker picker-upper. And by Sioux Chief, America's manufacturer of plumbing, drainage, supply, and support products. Lap 23, Gracie Trotter continues to lead. 5 laps so far with Drew Dollar behind her. He led 18 laps earlier, doing a nice job up front.
Yeah, the blue car, Derek Griffith, keeps trying to get that outside line up there. He's holding his own pretty well. He has the 29 of Derek Lancaster behind him. Derek actually had a skull fracture in an accident, a short track accident at Kingsport, Tennessee last year. We talked to him, remember, during the test. He's so glad to be here. He's raced here a few times in ARCA Menards series, really doing a super job not running in the top 5.
They told him he'd never race again. And he said, no way.
No way.
I'll do whatever it takes. And here he is. He was thrilled to be back in Daytona at the test. Well, Ty Gibbs has been pretty quiet in that 18. Kate, what are they saying?
Yeah, you know what? Ty Gibbs is extremely quiet on the radio often. That's been something that the team has said. He's really focused, and he actually thinks that he's talking out loud, but he's talking so quietly nobody can actually hear him. But one of the things that we've talked about is drafting, especially for these rookies who have never run on a super speedway like Daytona. Ty Gibbs said that he's been practicing drafting on the simulator, but you really can't get that feel until you're out here on race day. And Hal Martin is giving him that opportunity as he's telling him his car is getting hot. He's 240 degrees. That water is going up. He says, now Ty, pull out to get the nose in the air to cool it down. That's important to do right now as they're all in the pack. Jamie?
Thanks, Kate and Chase. It's interesting, when they come out for practice, you only see them run in packs of 3 or 4. That's nothing like when they're running in a pack of 34. How different does that feel?
It's way different, and that was the big thing for me, you know, practicing the Cup car. I went out with my SHR teammates, and there's 4 of them, and everything feels normal, just like the Xfinity car. Then we start the duels, and there's 20 cars around you, and just the air, everything happens so much faster. Your car doesn't handle near as well, and you know, this is really a time where all these guys and girls are learning so much, because it's the first time they've ever been in a pack this big. You know, the air, just the momentum you gain and lose, it's so much different. 5 cars versus 15 cars, and they're doing an amazing job. This is probably the most racy Daytona race I've ever seen, just with 2 lanes working. And you know, Derek Griffith has been able to constantly just keep fighting and clawing, and he's trying to get to that right rear of Gracie Trotter. And if he could just barely get there, I think he might have just enough to clear.
Just enough side draft to pull her car back a little bit. They had a lap car they had to negotiate their way around right here, riding along with that monster Toyota of Ty Gibbs. And I think as Chase said, he's really learning a lot back here. It'd be great to be running up front leading this race, but he's around cars. He has cars to the inside, cars in front, cars behind. He's learning a tremendous amount right now.
It's interesting. Different drivers have different strategies. I want to be up front the whole time, or I want to drop to the back and stay out of the chaos that we see when we see the 2 wide racing right now, because one car turns, you're going to take out multiple vehicles.
Yeah, that's always the tricky thing about Daytona, I think. That's where it gets really hairy, is when you come up on one of those slower lap cars. There's just nowhere to go. You know, Talladega, oh my. Talladega's just so much wider. There's so much room to get away from everybody. In this place, you know, you get 3 wide, and it's just so tight compared to Talladega, where we can really run 4 wide pretty comfortably.
Derek Griffith to the point in the 55.
Ooh, whoa. Look at the contact.
Oh! Gracie Trotter gets into her teammate, Derek Griffith, then he goes around and they continue crashing.
Greg Van Alst, Mick Sanchez. Scott Melton, the 69 car, also involved. Look at all the damage to Derek Griffith's car.
He had just gotten in the lead, had the 3 teammates around him.
Gracie made contact, and I don't know if maybe Derek Griffith was on the brakes trying to control that car, but she couldn't get away from him. Greg Van Alst, what a
ran top 5.
Yeah, just a horrible end to this day. What's so happy. Talked to him in the garage here this morning. Look at all the damage to Griffith's car.
Derek had a great run. Just started leading.
Scott Melton and Bill Kimmel's car.
He's going to back into the box, Phil.
Yeah.
As long as you get it over the line, it doesn't matter if you're backwards.
Keselowski did that a couple of years ago, and it was impressive.
They just went ahead and pitted it.
That's what I love. When the pit crew is so heads up, they can pit you backwards.
You see the radiator, the Denso, that's the radiator, obviously pushed back. There's no doubt it's destroyed.
Well, we were just talking about Derek Griffith and that new sponsor he brought on. Car looked so clean. Unfortunate for him. That's what Gracie, let's drop in and hear what she had to say about that contact.
No harm, no foul. Everything looks good. Shake it off. Shake it off.
Anything I could have done to avoid that?
Nothing with him shoving from behind, so just shake it off.
And
Chase, could she have done anything different?
I mean, let's see here. So she's just trying to help her teammate here. You know, just in the corner, it's so hard to bump draft, and just the biggest thing is just never doing it. You know, and it just gets him a little bit squirrely, and then, you know, at this point, it's really hard for her to not hit him just because of the speed difference now, and she's trying to not get ran over from behind, and you hate doing that to your teammate, but it's a learning lesson. She'll keep learning.
They'll continue to clean up. We'll have plenty more from Daytona after this. Welcome back to the Lucas Oil 200, driven by General Tire at Daytona. Thank you for watching us here on FS1. Well, we're under caution for the second time today. Let's look back at what led to the yellow flag.
Derek Griffith, the 55. The 25 of Gracie tried to get in the back of him, gets him sideways, and then I guess maybe he lost a little bit momentum, and Gracie looked like she was just trying to stay in line, but made more contact. There's the initial contact right there. It gets him sideways, and that slows his momentum. And then she just couldn't stay off him right there. And around he goes. He makes a little bit of contact with his other teammate, Drew Dollar. Then Greg Van Alst, Nick Sanchez come along with absolutely nowhere to go. Tough break for Derek Griffith, who had such a good car. How about Brett Holmes on the outside getting by here? Let's take a look at his onboard while he gets through here, how he gets through there.
Reckon in front, check up, check up, check up, check up, check up, check up, check up.
Heads up, driving right there. Well done, Brett.
That's why Brett Holmes had 19 top 10 finishes in 20 races last year. Heads up driving like that.
6 cars involved. Dollar was our pole sitter. Sanchez, Trotter, Van Alst, Griffith, and Melton. They've got him off of pit road now. Cleanup continues.
I think there was minimal damage to Gracie's car. I think she just touched him enough to turn him around, and then I don't think there's any more damage to her car. What great pictures here.
Awesome job by
Watch that 23 right in the middle. Brett Holmes just waits and waits and waits till the track clears.
Is that what they call threading the needle?
Yeah, the eye of the needle. The eye of the needle.
Now we just need a camera looking back. I love seeing the eyes in situations like that. Look at that slow motion.
Did the 73 get through right here too? If so, that's really threading the needle.
That may be my early.
That's the sweet
early leader for the Reese's Sweet move right there.
Yeah, that's a situation too on that wreck. You know, the 29 of Lancaster was trying to get to the right rear of Derek Griffith, and Gracie's just trying to help push her teammate along to not be able to lose the lead. And you know, just a tough situation there. Getting into 3, that's probably the hardest spot I feel like to even help somebody out, and just gets them a little bit, you know, squirrely, and from there you just can't check up quick enough.
That's Andy Jankowiak. Nice save by him. Delivery driver from upstate New York. Let's now take a look at the General Tire driver profile.
Yeah, 4 people I'd probably go with, man, that's tough. Probably Junior Johnson, Cale Yarborough. Got to have Petty in there, and definitely Dale Sr.
Well, Richard Petty and Dale Earnhardt are obviously up there. And I think Jimmy Johnson needs to be up there for sure. And growing up, my favorite car was the Home Depot 20 car, even though he wasn't our driver. So just because I love him, I would put Tony Stewart up there. I definitely say either Davey Allison or Carl Edwards. Those two guys I really look up to. Davey just because he's from Alabama, and Carl Edwards, he's a family friend, and we raced dirt with him in the past, and he's just a really down-to-earth guy and super nice, and both very successful drivers that I really look up to and want to be someday.
So Kyle Busch, Jimmy Johnson, Tony Stewart, and we'll throw Denny Hamlin in there.
It's so interesting, the different age groups. You see the young kids, they're calling guys that are only 40 years old on their Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, the last one, they were all still racing, I think.
So who would be on your Mount Rushmore?
I would take literally the same one Thad Moffitt had. You know, all three of the 7-time folks, and then I'm going to throw Tony in there just because, I mean, he was my guy growing up.
How about you, Phil?
I've got to do my brother Benny. Then I've got to do Dale Sr. that I was fortunate enough to race with, along with the King Richard Petty, and then gosh, probably David Pearson.
That's a pretty good one. Dale Sr., Jimmy Johnson for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd have to go with AJ Foyt too.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's a great one too.
Nobody said AJ Foyt.
Can we have 8? Can we have 8 on Mount Rushmore?
We have Jeff Gordon.
Yeah, he's getting up there in age. We could say Jeff Gordon. Love you, Jeff. Just
There's a lot of great ones.
There really are. We need more than 4.
Yeah,
have to have more than 4.
4 you can't do justice.
Yeah.
One of them mentioned Carl Edwards. We miss him in this sport, don't we?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Good guy too.
We need somebody to start doing backflips when they win. That was just a fun victory celebration. Chase, how about you?
I can't do a somersault, so it's not going to be me. I can assure you that.
But this caution came out, unfortunate for some, but a perfect time for most of these crew chiefs because they wanted to get a caution somewhere around lap 30, and they would come to pit road and not even come in during the competition caution. That's going to be somewhere around lap 43. So I think when we see pit road open, they are now. I think we're going to see most of these cars come to pit road.
So real quick, tell us about the modified pit stops that they have in this series.
Yeah, there's going to be 4 people allowed over the wall. They can change 4 tires and they can put fuel in, but not simultaneously. And they will retain their running position when they leave pit road. Jamie.
And Corey Heim brings it to a stop in pit lane. This will be fuel only. He hasn't complained much about the car. They were pretty happy with what they brought to play with today. So he's going to take on that fuel. Next up on pit road is the number 17 of Tanner Gray. The two of these guys wanted to work together before that caution came out. They're going to get a chance when we go back to green, Kate.
Right here with the number 15, Drew Dollar. Disappointing time as he was running up front. His crew chief, Billy Venturini, is saying that if they can get the car put together back how it was at the beginning, they're going to be good. But right now, as you can see, they're trying to change 4 tires. They have a right front issue. They said what we don't want to have happen is have the rest of it rip off. And so this is what the number 15 car is up against here this afternoon.
Yeah, remember, these are composite bodies, so they're basically plastic, and that's why they have to reattach it with Barabond, all that tape to try to get these fenders to retain their shapes.
I'll get those cars fixed up, get them back out there, and see where they shake out. We'll continue. We'll drop that green flag again in just moments.
There's not a lot of pressure from us. I think this is going to be a big year for him because last year he was 17 most of the racing season and couldn't race the bigger tracks. And so now he'll race, all of the tracks.
I'm very excited for this next season coming up. I have a chance to run full-time, which will be awesome. And hopefully have a shot to win the championship.
The other part of his year, the planning for him, is he's going to run some Xfinity races too. And so he'll have a full schedule this year. It's going to be a big year for him.
It's definitely a lot to take in and a lot to learn, but I'm glad that where I'm at. I have a great family and I just love racing. I'm going to keep doing it.
Certainly a family affair for Coach Gibbs and his grandson Ty. Ty right now running in 21st position. Pretty good winning percentage here. Let's take a listen to his radio.
Feel like you can make some moves? Are you ready?
I've been ready for a while, Mark. What are you talking about?
It's about to be on here in a second.
Let's do it.
And it's not all about racing for the grandchildren of Coach Gibbs. JD's 2 boys, Jackson and Miller, both play football at App State. So Coach Gibbs still has some football games to go to, too.
What do you think, Chase? Is it time for Ty to step it up, make a move?
I think he's in a perfect spot right now. You know, he's been back in the pack. He knows what his car is going to do in a bad situation. You know, to win this race, you have to finish this race, and he's kept his car clean. You know, he's been really in the middle of everything so far and had every opportunity to get in a wreck, and he's missed them. So I think he's in the perfect situation. But yes, I do think it's time to slowly start trying to creep your way to the front, because especially in this race, it seems like you can't wait till 5 to go. You have to be there and be in position to be there at the end. So he's going to, I would say, slowly start creeping towards the front. Once he's there, I think it's going to be hard to get him shuffled out.
You see the cars have been running side by side. It's really hard to make that third lane work unless you have to get a whole lot of help. And it's hard to rely on that help to make that third lane work.
Yeah, and I think that he maybe have just been giving some Ricky Bobby hand signals there for some slingshot action or something. But yeah, this car, the ARCA car, for whatever reason, it does seem like it has a hard time to get to that third lane going for whatever reason.
Well, tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern, head over to the ARCA Menards Series Twitter page at ARCA_racing to vote on what moment you think was today's sweet move of the race, presented by Reese's. Well, I think we had one good candidate so far.
For sure, maybe two. Counting Brett Holmes for one, and then Andy J in the 73 car for another.
Yeah, he's my choice so far for sure. That was threading the needle.
Let's get an update from pit road. And Kate?
We heard Mike Harmon tell Gracie to shake it off, that little incident. Well, she couldn't shake off everything. As she came to the pits here, got some fuel. There was right front nose repair, a big white patches there covering it, had a little hole. She's back out there, and again, all she's focusing on right now is just shaking it off and getting restarted.
And that's great advice. I think, you know, for me, when I came and ran my first truck race here, I literally wrecked almost half the field on the second lap. So your mind just starts questioning everything you're doing. And I think, you know, for her, she just has to shake that off. You know, you can't change the situation now. You know, the best thing you can do is just go out there and try to put it behind you. And, you know, she's going to just have to keep going. There's going to be times where you're going to, you know, make mistakes and wreck the field. And you just got to put it behind you and try to figure it out.
Let's check in with Tanner Gray's radio.
If I take the top, I'll have the 20 open, right?
But even if you get clear, you're going to want to go back to the bottom anyway. We're not really working both lanes like we used to do in Cup, you know what I mean? I almost just feel like just start on the bottom, get you a shove, and then if they get moving to you, then you move up to them. I mean, it's all just going to depend on the start.
I believe that was Kevin Hamlin, his spotter, that he spots for our pole sitter for the Daytona 500 tomorrow, Alex Bowman.
Real family affair here with Tanner Gray. You see the sponsor, Ripper Coffee. That is his older brother's company that he just started. Tanner was telling us about that, and obviously Tanner's grandfather bought into David Gilliland Racing. Now he's partnered with them, and as you mentioned, Tanner had a tough truck race. Didn't even get to the start-finish line until he broke an axle or had some sort of a drivetrain problem, but right now he stayed on the racetrack. He has not been to pit road yet, Jamie.
No, the plan was to come to pit road to get some fuel, but they decided to take that track position. They would come back in at the planned competition caution about the halfway mark. This has turned into a little bit of a longer caution period than originally expected, but for Tanner, he's on the radio with this team. They already had a plan in place. He was going to work with the number 20 of Corey Heim once we go back to racing. For Tanner himself, he's looking for redemption. You talked about the troubles he had in the truck race last night. He's not doing the full season here in the ARCA Menards series, so he doesn't have as much on the line. He doesn't have to worry about points, doesn't have to worry about saving the car, so to speak. What he's worried about is getting those race wins and building up his confidence for the season.
Yeah, really good update on Tanner Gray. He has no pressure. This is his only planned ARCA race, so we'll see him come in to pit in the next few laps, and we'll be back to Daytona. ARCA Racing on FS1 is brought to you by Richmond Water Heaters, the water heater experts, available at Menards. And by General Tires, anywhere is possible. Each year, General Tires sponsors the Super Speedway Challenge. What exactly is this, Phil?
Yeah, this is for all races, tracks over 1¼ miles in length, and it's for the car owners. You don't have to have the same driver, so a car owner will win this championship. Brett Holmes' dad, Stacy, won this championship last year.
Such a great idea, because a lot of these teams, they run full-time, but their drivers are coming and going from different series, so they still get some credit.
The guy up here with us won this for his car owner back in 2016.
Yeah, Briggs Cunningham and Beth Cunningham.
All right, they're lined up, ready to go. Pace car should take that hard left. Tanner Gray, Sean Corr on the front row. Green flag is in the air.
Jason was saying that he was a little bit surprised that Tanner took the outside. He felt like the safer move would be to take the inside. Good car down there, the 8 car of Sean Corr.
Derek Lancaster in the 29 drops to the bottom. Drew Dollar says, excuse me, guys, I may have a little bare bond on my left front, but my car's still just as good.
We saw Matt Crafton with his truck last night with Barabon all over the front and racing up at the front.
You gotta love it. Anytime you can repair your car at Daytona and still race and still be competitive. Well done by that Venturini team.
The other two 18-year-olds lined up on the bottom. Corey Heim in the white 20 and Ty Gibbs in the black 18. Going to tuck in behind Tanner Gray in the 17.
Saw a glimpse at the 27, Tim Richmond. No relation to the Tim Richmond. Interesting nugget on that 27 car that he's actually racing today, Phil. I talked to Tim's dad. This was the car at Kansas last year. It got stolen. They took the trailer, took the car. They recovered the car 2 days later, all beat up. So they've rebuilt the car, and he's racing it today. And you know what it says on the back? Drive it like you stole it.
Kind of something different we haven't seen all day. That, you know, the field's really starting to spread out and thin out. It seems like that bottom line is really starting to prevail.
See Gracie Trotter right now. That's the only car in the outside line. She's running it back around the 8th or 9th position. There she is right there. Has no help on the outside.
Andy J, as you called him, in the 73 on the bottom.
Here comes Rich Bickle. Remember, Rich involved in that early incident along with Dave Mater. They're together on the high side, the block 45 right there, and the silver 63. Still in contention, still on the lead lap.
Remember, we have a competition caution coming around lap 43. Let's explain what exactly they're doing in this series. Their competition caution is a little bit different than you see in the other 3 series.
Well, we're used to seeing 11, 12-second pit stops on pit road for the major NASCAR series, and those pit crews are expensive. So one way to cut costs, the ARCA Menards officials decided to have these competition caution pit stops where you can only have 4 people over the wall, and you retain. The important thing is you retain your position on the racetrack. So it doesn't matter if you have a 12-second pit stop or a 30-second pit stop. You're going to come right back on the racetrack, and it probably saves these teams anywhere from $3,000 to $4,000 a race by not having to have those high-priced pit crew members.
They don't want them to be rewarded for making up positions on pit road, which is very smart. It allows a lot of these smaller teams to come out here and compete. They can have their buddies going over the wall like the old days.
Exactly. Like Jason and I could probably go over the wall. Let's go do it.
I'll join. Let's do it. I'll be the sign holder.
That's right. That's right. Everybody's important.
Tanner Gray in the 17 continues to lead. Corey Heim. Ty Gibbs up to 3rd, and Drew Dollar. Caution is out. It is our competition caution. We will have pit stops. That is flagwoman Denise Engel waving the yellow flag. Stay tuned. More from Daytona after this. New tracks, new teams, and a new champ. The 2021 NASCAR season starts in one day with the Great American Race, the Daytona 500. It's tomorrow, only on Fox. Let's check into the pits. We have a couple takers here, Jamie.
Tanner Gray is the first one to hit his marks. His team telling him, make sure you get close to the wall here. It's going to be a fuel-only pit stop. There was some discussion, I see him now, about going down 2 turns on the track bar. He said, these tires are going to be hot right now, so we're going to get you some extra grip. Kate?
Right there you see Sean Corr pulling into his pit, and he's in his throwback scheme from 2008. You can see they're digging into the car there. That's because they're having to change out that radio. It hasn't been working accurately, but he is pitting. He said he's getting fuel at this point, and they're going to change those tires here. At least that's what they were saying. We will see as we continue on. Jamie?
Looks like a little bit of an issue inside the 8 car for Sean Corr, working on that. Let's take a look at our flag woman I mentioned. That's Denise Engel, her 6th year flagging the ARCA series, a mom of 5 kids, doing a great job. We'll be back. ARCA Racing on FS1 is brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards. Welcome back to Daytona International Speedway. This turned out to be a great day. There's Brett Holmes. Okay, let's get an update on Brett. What are they saying?
Well, Brett Holmes, who is looking for his first win out of his last starts here at Daytona, they're saying that, hey, you come here, you think you got some teammates, you got people who are doing some deals and wheeling and dealing in the garages before you come to track. And, well, hey, guys, that's not always what happens when they're out on track.
I should have stayed with the 8, but whatever. I didn't, you know, the 18 didn't stay out long enough for me to get cleared, so. Yeah, well, welcome to Speedway Racing. Everybody's going to promise you the world, and then they do none of it when you get out there in the race. We're all about ourselves here, nobody else. We're going to do what we have to do to try to win the race.
That is the dang truth right there.
You guys are selfish out there, aren't you?
I could have been Chase. I've heard him say stuff like that before.
You sit there and you promise everybody the world, and then once you get out there, it seems like it's definitely for whatever's best for you. But, you know, that is the tough thing about this series is, you know, everybody's out there trying to make a name for themselves. And, you know, you can have all the plans that you want to going into this race, but once you get out there, it's hard to really set it up and make it execute.
Well, we're 46 laps into this race. Let's take a look now at the Richmond Water Heaters mid-race recap. Early on in the race, Thad Moffitt with trouble as they go 3 wide.
All 3 cars involved were able to continue. Thad Moffitt now being shown a couple laps down.
This is the big one here. Just Gracie Trotter getting into the back there, Griffith. Surprisingly, more cars weren't in this wreck, and glad there Griffith didn't go upside down there.
Brett Holmes with a great save.
What, right along with Brett. His spotter said, wait till they get done wrecking. Wait till they get done wrecking. Okay, now go ahead.
Love those onboards. So, Chase, just so you know, anytime we ask you to take the onboard, just say yes.
I love having the onboard. Then I can at least go back and watch what I did wrong that way.
Right. It's 46 of 80 laps. Our current leader right now, Corey Heim, the 20-year-old Toyota driver. 25 cars on the lead lap. We've had 6 different leaders today and 5 lead changes. Let's get an update from Jamie.
I'm going to go back to a story you started a little earlier. Jamie Little, the number 73, Andy Jakowiak. You mentioned he's a delivery man. He's actually a pizza delivery man back in New York. It's what he's always done since he was in high school. You see this picture here with his dad. This is his delivery vehicle. This is what he makes his money in. Every time he makes $1, he puts it into the tip jar. That tip jar was going to be the down payment on his house. There's a photo of him with his mom right there. His father actually passed away in a racing accident back in 1989. Following a crash at Stafford. His uncle also passed away in a crash in Lancaster. So racing is something that's always been in his blood, but it's something that he's always thought about doing. He took that money that was going to be the down payment. That's what you're seeing on the racetrack. That is the number 73. His entire life savings is out there right now. He's up into the top 10. When I spoke with him this morning, he said, this is just a dream come true. I don't know that I'm ever going to be able to do something like this again. He has 0 regrets about doing this. He said he's just going to soak it up and enjoy every single moment.
Now that is an all-American story. Well done, Jamie. Thank you.
Such a great story. And I'm sure it was the same way for Chase. He came from 3 generations of racing. I spent every penny that I could ever scrape together to try to get to start racing. And I'm sure it was the same way for you, Chase.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think every second, third generation driver that grows up in it like he did, you dream of getting to race at Daytona, and it obviously takes a lot to get there. There's a lot of money spent. There's a lot of effort, you know, and it's cool to see a guy like that has literally worked from nothing to get to this point. So he's the guy I'm pulling for now, that's for sure.
He's doing a nice job.
One thing we may need to mention here, remember Tanner Gray came in the pits. We talked about people retaining their position, but that is only you retain your position against the other cars that made it to pit road. These cars that stayed on the racetrack because they pitted earlier back on lap number 33, they will line up in front of Tanner Gray and Sean Corr and everyone else that made a pit stop on the competition caution.
Tanner Gray shown right now in 17th, Sean Corr in 18th.
And everybody right now should be in their window to make it the rest of the way. All those drivers that came in on lap 33, 47 laps from the end, they felt like the fuel window somewhere around 54 laps. So they should have enough cushion if they need to, even for an overtime finish.
So Chase, we're a little past halfway. What are you doing as a driver right now? Are you starting to plot?
I think for me, 30 laps to go, I'm starting to pull my belts really tight because you know it's about to get intense. So this restart's going to be huge. You know, you don't know if there's going to be more cautions, if it's going to go green. You know, we were talking earlier about Ty Gibbs. When's the time to go? Well, you're on the front row right now. If you can take control of this race, you know, there's going to be 2 teammates lined up to the inside of you, but he's got Derek Lancaster behind him, who's been a great pusher on every restart today. So this is going to be a big test. I think whoever obviously wins this restart is going to be in the best control for the rest of the race. So there's a lot that goes into this restart right here for sure.
And they say strength in numbers. Got 6 Toyotas out of the top 7 right now. We got Brett Holmes in a Chevy. But back there, 10th all the way back to 16th, all Chevrolet. So they've got a lot of power, a lot of friends there to work with.
5, ready, trigger. Inside cover. They're getting a good push down there. Still inside. Still inside. Half back here, help. Help is off, out back. 1 lane separation. Inside. Inside. There you go. Use your tools off the 2. Keep digging. No help out back. No help. No help. Quick hole behind the 23. It's closing. It's closing. Closed. Covered. Inside is covered. Drag that 23 back. Keep digging here, bud. Keep digging.
And Chase, what did his spotter mean by use your tools off of turn 2 to Ty Gibbs?
Well, I was trying to figure that out too, because I would like to have some tools, I think. But the only thing I could think was just using the side draft. You know, you can really slow that guy down by pulling down on their right rear quarter panel or their left rear. And, you know, that's the tough part. You know, like we were saying, you know, that restart was so crucial, and you know now Ty's got to really work to get back up there, and it's so easy here if that outside lane doesn't go, you just get shuffled so fast. So he's going to have to slowly just keep trying to work that side draft, get down, pull that inside lane back, just try to create a hole here.
Just one car at a time, right? Get against that side draft, that car inside of him right now, which is Derek Lancaster, and try to move ahead of him, get up to Brett Holmes, who's in 3rd right now.
Yeah, exactly. That's the hard thing for Ty right now, is you can do that all you want, but you have to have a little bit of help from behind. It seems like Gracie, maybe with her damage, just can't quite get there, but if he can just get a little bit of a hole to get down, that's going to be huge. But yeah, it's a lot of work, and you know, just the timing aspect of that is, you know, how to not try to get too much. You know, it seems like it's really easy to sometimes try to take, you know, try to get 2 or 3 cars, and sometimes you're better off just trying to just get that one spot. And he's really working it really well here. So as Gracie gets here, this is going to be his one chance, I think, to really try to get down.
You can see the gap between Brett Holmes right there, the blue and white number 23, and Derek Lancaster. Although that hole just closed up, he had a gap. Had he been able to get up there, wasn't quite far enough up there.
He might have a little chance off of 2 there. It seems like on the entry of the corner, the inside lane always kind of surges, and then on the exit, the outside normally surges. And see some good bump drafting here from Andy J to the 01.
I loved hearing that open radio by Ty Gibbs. I mean, that's the spotter chatter. That's what you hear the entire race. It doesn't matter what level of racing you're in here. What do you think of that, Chase? I know some drivers want their spotter constantly, and others just want bits and pieces.
Yeah, I think it's different, you know, for every racetrack. But at a place like Daytona or Talladega, you know, I want my spotter to literally never stop talking, just to paint as big of a picture as I can possibly have, just so I understand the scope of what's going on around me. And I think that's the best thing that makes the good spotters here really good, is they just paint such a picture. As a race car driver, we're very limited on what we can see, and you know, the more information they can give us, the better, you know, situation we can put ourselves in. Corey Heim is our current leader. Let's get more on him from Jamie.
listening to the radio, and under that last caution period, they were asking him to start saving some fuel. They weren't sure if we were going to get more caution or less caution. He doesn't have to worry about that now. He has plenty of fuel to get all the way to the end of the race, but he was learning some important lessons, and what that did was help build up the confidence that he had in his spotter when they're still able to learn under caution, Kate.
Well, we know that Billy Venturini was saying if we got that car back to race ready for the number 15, Drew Dollar, it's going to be good. Well, obviously, if he's running 20, if he's running in second right now, Billy Venturini is saying stay with the 20. Wait till the end if you want to try something and stay in line. Drew Dollar told me before the race started the goal was stick with those Toyota teammates, and that's exactly what they're doing right now. Venturini is looking for their 4th win here at Daytona.
Unbelievable team when it comes to Daytona. Venturini Motorsports, 4 previous wins, including last year with Michael Self. By the way, Michael Self has moved on from racing. He's actually managing a race team, so we wish him well there. Gracie Trotter is the one with that team that won last year. Howie DiSavino in the 32 car.
A little bit of nose damage there on the 32.
Yeah, I noticed that earlier. It might have been one of that first incident we saw with Thad Moffitt, but you see him bouncing away from a double yellow line. If he opens up that hole, you were talking about that earlier, Chase, someone will fill that hole up for him.
Howie said when he tested here, his calves hurt. He was pushing that gas pedal so hard. More from Daytona after this. Each year, NASCAR begins its season during Black History Month. We recognize the accomplishments of Black Americans in the sport, including icons like Elias Bowie, who is credited as being the first Black driver to start a top-level NASCAR race, and NASCAR Hall of Famer Wendell Scott, the first Black driver to win a NASCAR Cup Series event. Bubba Wallace with a brand new team. He's starting on the 3rd row for the Daytona 500. Michael Jordan, a co-owner of that team, will be here watching. We welcome them to the sport. Should be pretty exciting.
Going to have an interview with MJ tomorrow, right, during the Daytona 500 broadcast?
Yes, and Denny Hamlin, the co-owner of that team. I heard it went great. Michael Strahan sat down with them. A lot of unbelievable features tomorrow, so hopefully all of you watching today will be tuning in tomorrow as we set up the Great American Race. Corey Heim at the helm in the 20 car. Such a cool story. So last year, he ran 3 races. If I'm not mistaken, it was 3 different car numbers. The last race of the year at Kansas, he goes out and wins it. And he was given this opportunity as a reward for proving himself last year. Now he's full-time going for the championship this year.
And that's Toyota. They have such a great program to reward young drivers. They have such a great driver lineup of young drivers, and people like Corey Heim, they get this opportunity to run full-time for this championship.
Let's listen in on Andy Jankowiak's radio.
Protective of the bottom a little bit here. The outside seems to fall back. You got to be smart here, man. If we're going to make a move, we got to have 2 or 3 go with us for sure. I think we're better off letting the others make the mistakes still, man. I agree.
Something happened to the 0-1 of Chuck Hires. You saw Gracie Trotter get into the back of him. I think he was just trying to get out of the way.
Yeah, it looked like off of turn 2 there, the right front was down and something. And I was just about to give him a shout out right down the road from Jacksonville, and 61 years old and was running almost there in the top 5.
You see he has some damage. As you mentioned, that right front is down. The 8 of Sean Corr was able to get by. Look at the damage to the 25 of Gracie Trotter. Was not able to avoid the 0-1, but we stayed green.
Chuck Hires just trying to get out of the way there. Couldn't. Gracie got into the back of him. As he limps it down pit lane, they'll take a look.
He had a great run going, too. Been running 6th, 7th all day long, pretty much.
Yeah, he was up in the top 3 early on, but look at all the damage to the 25 of Gracie Trotter. That will definitely take her out of contention for sure, if not out of the race.
And that's really broken up this front pack. It seemed like it had taken 5 or 6 laps for that 6th through 10th pack to kind of catch that top 5, and now we're back broke away. So down to you, Kate.
Let's get an update on the 23. Kate.
The spotter of Brett Holmes, Derek Nealon, was telling Brett right before that, said those 3 cars back are getting antsy. Keep doing what you're doing. Brett Holmes was speaking to Derek Nealon, saying he's a good spotter and he sees what happens. Bringing it to the racetrack right now, one of the things that Brett Holmes said that he was going to focus on here today was timing, decisions, when to be patient, and when to make that move. And you can see right now, as it's coming down to under 20 to go, Brett Holmes might be making that move here pretty soon.
Yeah, this is Brett's 5th start here at Daytona in the ARCA Menards Series. 6th is his best finish, so he's looking to better. It looks like there's a little bit of debris right there, middle of your screen at the exit of the trial. Well, I'm not sure if the ARCA officials will deem that necessary to throw the caution as Gracie Trotta's crew tries to open up that grill to get that radiator some air.
Get some bare bottom tape on there and see if they can get her back out to finish this race. Back to Brett Holmes for a minute in the 23. This guy has a lot going on. He works full-time at the family business. He just wrapped up. He got his education. He's focused on racing, but he's not going full-time this year. They're actually taking the step up, and they'll run in the truck series.
Yeah, they're going to run some truck races. We were talking to his crew chief, Shane Huffman, this morning. They're not sure exactly where they're going to start, but they're also going to split the ARCA car and the truck with Sam Mayer. Sam Mayer, who won in the truck series last year, won in the ARCA Menards series, that will turn 18 in June and will run full-time for Junior Motorsports in the Xfinity series after he turns 18. But the rest of this year, even before he turns 18 and after, he will share that 23 car, ARCA Menards car, with Brett Holmes. There's a 0-1, Chuck Hires.
They got him back out
on the racetrack, but right now being shown a couple laps down, and obviously still a lot of smoke there.
Definitely have to bring it back in. And you mentioned Shane Huffman, the crew chief on the 23 for Brett Holmes. I remember covering him in the Xfinity series as a driver, and he was one of those drivers, Chase, you were probably like this until you got to the upper levels, but you'd go out and practice your car, you get out, you go underneath the car, you're working on it. So he was kind of destined to be a crew chief, and Brett Holmes really credits him and says he turned our whole team around.
Yeah, he absolutely. That program, they were always kind of in the hunt, but last year, it was a whole new Brett Holmes racing team, and obviously to come home with the championship was cool to see.
Work continues on the 25. Heim, Dollar, Holmes are your leaders. We're 64 laps into 80. Stay with us.
I feel like the 23 will try and pull up, and the 18 will probably try and go with him, just so you know. And you want me to block like you. I want to win. I don't care. That's a big fan, Roger. I come down here to be nobody's buddy. I come down here to win. You're my buddies. That's because you're on my team.
And they're talking about their teammate, too. They're talking about the teammate of Drew Dollar being right there. Nobody's buddy. Look at the damage. Chase was noting this during the commercial break. You see all that barrel is coming off. Remember, that's a composite plastic fender there.
It's close to rubbing the left front. That's going to be a huge disadvantage to come down to the end of this race if he tries to pull out to make a move for the win. And, if I'm Ty Gibbs, if I'm Derek Lancaster, you guys have broken away. You're 3 seconds ahead of 6th place. Let's try to do something here. 12 to go. Figure out what your car can do. Figure out what you need. And see if you can start working that second lane, because if you wait till 2 or 3 to go, I just think it's too late, especially when there's only 5 cars up there. You got to try to get these guys to go with you early. And if you can take control and get the lead, then it's way easier coming to the end of this race.
During the commercial break, they lapped by a couple cars. Tim Richmond was one of those in the 27, and Ty jumped to the outside of Derek Lancaster. Thought he might be able to use the draft off the lap cars. Wasn't quite able to do anything. Had to pull back in line. So I think right now, if I'm Mark McFarland, crew chief for the 18 of Ty Gibbs, I'm making my way down to Derek Lancaster's pit and say, hey, let's make something happen here. Let's don't wait till the last lap and find out it's not going to work.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Brett Holmes, the spotter, is really going to be the guy that needs to kind of take advantage of that, because you know that the 15 of Drew Dollar has damage. So if you can get 3 cars against 2 cars, and that second car and the 2 have damage, you're obviously going to be faster. So I would definitely get going here as we get down to 10 to go. I think if you can just wait too long and then you don't have time to do it, I think you're better off to do it as soon as you can. And that way, if it doesn't work out, you have enough time to kind of try to rally and try something else.
I think Drew's fine following with that damage, but I don't think he's ever going to be in a position to pull out unless he can anticipate the 3 of those guys pulling out and maybe try to pull out in front of them to get them to push him by. But I don't think with that damage, it would be awfully hard for him to be able to pass that 20 car.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's going to have to be a perfect scenario for him to be able to pull out and make that pass. And he can kind of hide that as he gets off to the right a little bit. It'll kind of hide that left front behind Corey Haim's bumper. But as these guys get to lap traffic, to me, this is the perfect situation to try to make that move for the lead. If you're Brett Holmes or Derek Lancaster, Ty Gibbs, as you come around these lap cars, it kind of moves the air around. Guys get off the bottom, it kind of gives you a little bit more of a surge as they pull back to the bottom. And sometimes guys will get lazy. You can get on their right rear and kind of drag them back and side draft them. So it looks like they're not going to be able to pull it off right here, but I'm telling you, they need to be making a move here quick, because if you wait till the end, it's just too late and you don't have enough time with these cars. It seems like it really takes a while to build a car to get the momentum to do it.
A little 5-car breakaway. And in this group right here, Derek Lancaster is the only one without an ARCA win. So perhaps he'll be more aggressive here because he knows he has a shot at what could be his first ARCA Menards win. Let's check in with Jamie on our leader.
Well, the question came to Corey Haim's crew chief, Shannon Rush. How defensive do you want us to be at the end of this race? Shannon's response was, I don't care. I just want to win this race. When we get to 8 laps to go, you do what you have to do to make that happen, Kate.
Yeah, Jamie, that's what all these drivers are right now trying to figure out, is when do we make that move? And what, Jamie and Phil, Chase, what you guys are talking about with Drew Dollar, that was the concern laps ago. Crew chief Billy Venturini was saying what we don't want to have happen is have any more issues with that left front or any more of those pieces to pull off. So Drew Dollar is just trying to keep consistent and keep at it, knowing that, as he said, he wants to be smart and be there at the end.
Lloyd, you just make sure we're ready to block. Just be thinking about it. Zero hesitation. Mental focus right here for me.
Nine laps, 8 laps to go. That was the 20. What they're thinking at this point, you hear different scenarios. On the Cup Series, you don't go until 3 laps. You don't go until 2 laps to go. They're trying to get formed up right now. So what's the right approach for these drivers?
I like what Chase said. I think don't wait till the last minute. You don't wait till 2 or 3 laps to go and find out what you thought might work. It's not going to work. Let's try it now, because the worst thing could happen if Derek Lancaster and Ty Gibbs, or maybe even Brett Holmes, pulls out and tries to pass and it doesn't work. Get back in line and figure out another way to do it. Maybe use some lap traffic.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if it doesn't work out, you're still going to run top 5 right here, and you're still going to be able to catch right back up. So for me, if I'm Brett Holmes, I'm going to drag this pack back. Those 2 guys behind me, Derek Lancaster, Ty Gibbs, I'm going to get back 5, 6, 7 car lengths and try to build a huge run right at the end of the straightaway so I can pull out and get on the right rear of Drew Dollar. And once I do that, it's going to obviously slow the leader down as well. So if you get those 3 cars to go with you to the outside, if you build that momentum, to me, that's your best chance to win this race. And I keep saying, I just think if you wait, it's not going to work out, because you only get 1 shot at that point. At least here, if you try it, it doesn't work, you can kind of, think of a new plan, maybe try to get those guys to for sure go with you. I feel like I've watched this race every year and they wait too long. And when you do that, you just don't give yourself an opportunity to win the race.
We're coming to 6 laps to go right here. The longest stretch that we've had to finish a race in the last 4 years is 4 laps. So, but I think they're spread out enough, unless they get together when somebody's going to try to make a move at some point, and it may be led by Brett Holmes. Unless they get together then, this looks like a green flag finish here.
I like how mentally tough they're making him, though. Just no holds barred. This is our race. You're going to go out there and win. And look at him right now. That car is in mint condition. I don't think there's a scratch on that number 20 leading this field.
And they're telling, this is an 18-year-old. They're telling to have mental focus.
Yes.
Mental focus right here.
Look out ahead, but also look in your mirror and make sure you can block when it's time.
Look all the time in your mirror, but every now and then glance out ahead. Yeah, that's a perfect view for Corey Haim right there. Nothing in front of him.
Corey Haim, the driver out of Marietta, Georgia. 16 starts previous in the ARCA Menards series. Driving like a seasoned veteran out there. I'm impressed with Ty Gibbs in the 18. He's been really patient today.
Yeah, I think Ty's, showed a great deal of patience, and he's really in the catbird seat, I think, right here, to be the guy that tries to make a move.
Got a car in the wall.
4 to go.
Yeah.
Coming off of turn 4.
I must have jinxed it, I guess. Scott Reeves, the 88. You can see all the damage.
He's going to mow the lawn here for the track crew at Daytona.
You can see all the evidence of the rain we had earlier today.
He might get, look at that. I mean, that's just a testament to what these track workers did in drying this track early on, because you see how soaking wet the infield is. Jamie, what are you hearing?
Scott Reeves just radioed back to his crew chief, Brian Finney. He said there was the right front that blew. That's what caused him to go into the wall. So it was a tire issue for Scott Reeves.
Let's take a look exactly what was happening coming off turn 4. Cut that right front.
Wow,
hard
that
hit.
Just such a bad angle. That was a hard lick.
Cutting all that grass down. Somehow they'll make it beautiful for tomorrow's Daytona 500. I don't know if he'll be able to drive that car out of the grass at this point.
Last year, Daytona was the only start that Scott Reeves made. He finished 33rd in that one.
They will get Scott Reeves out of the grass, and we will get back to racing. Only 4 laps to go here at Daytona. You're watching the ARCA Menards series on FS1. And this is what brought out our 4th caution flag of the day. Got a little wet and wild for Scott Reeves. Big hit coming off of turn 4. Cut that right front tire. Goes sliding through the infield. And it is a watery, muddy, grassy mess. He did get out of the car. Walked under his own power to the medics. He'll get checked out in the infield care center. Let's listen to some radio from our leader, Corey Heim.
He's wanting to do a teammate restart, and he's wanting us to drop down in front of the 15 at the start and finish line. They're going to get tight to us and push us until 1 to go. They'll push us to the checker if we do it.
Coming up with a game plan there.
Yeah, what they're talking about is choreographing this restart. Corey would start on the outside, and the 15 of Drew Dollar would allow him to get back in front of him after they cross the start-finish line before they get to turn 1, and then push, and then all bets are off with 1 lap to go is what they were saying. Of course, well, he's going to push me all the way to the checker if that's the case. But anyway, that's what they're talking about is orchestrating this restart.
So we saw that breakaway pack of 5. So here's a little nugget. They had over a 6-second lead on 6th place. Then the caution flag falls. So the dynamic of this race has officially changed. We have 2 laps to go.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how this restart goes.
Beautiful. Keep your head on a swivel and your eyes open.
You're going to need that for this final 2 laps. But I don't like the teammate restart deal personally, especially. It's hard to do, to me, at least in the first place, especially these guys have never practiced it before. I don't like it. I would rather, if I'm Corey Heim, I want to take the inside and just let Brett Holmes push me. And whatever happens, happens. Because I think you get in a position where you're trying to get down in front of the guy, and then, you just put yourself in a box that I feel like you don't necessarily have to be in. But if I'm the team owner, Billy Venturini, I'm all for it. But as a driver, I would personally rather just do the normal start, and whatever happens, happens.
Good shot of the 28. That's Kyle Sieg right there. That's Xfinity driver Ryan Sieg's younger brother, only 19 years old. Ran a handful of ARCA races last year. Finished 10th at IRP, which was his best finish, but really has done a nice job, solid job in contention here in the 7th spot.
How about our boy in 6th?
Andy J.
Yeah.
Andy J's in 6th. Some great stories up here in the top 10. Obviously, Derek Lancaster, remember, had a skull fracture last year at Kingsport, Tennessee. Said he would never race again, and here he is running 4th inside the top 5 at Daytona. Probably an overtime finish.
He has a shot to win at Daytona. I can't even imagine. I love the raw emotion that you get from drivers who win here. I mean, we saw it last night. I love it. Something about Corey Heim I wanted to mention that I learned. He's a huge Denny Hamlin fan. He said there was something when he was 5 years old. He saw Denny coming into the Cup Series, and he just liked him and rooted for him. So maybe pulls this off. Maybe he can get to meet his hero.
Denny's pretty good here at this race.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Denny Hamlin, of course, going for a record 3rd consecutive Daytona 500 win. Don't forget, though, he's already won here 3 times. Pretty impressive.
He's running out of room in his garage for his Daytona 500 winning cars.
And on the flip side, his teammate Kyle Busch, he has so many darn trophies, but he has one spot right in the middle for the trophy from the Daytona 500, something Kyle Busch has never done. Coach Joe Gibbs right there. I can only imagine the anxiousness you feel. It's one thing to watch your drivers out there racing in Xfinity and Cup, but to watch your grandson. Phil, you got a son that races. What's that like to have family on the track?
It's pretty hard. I'm usually pretty calm. Stefan is actually racing this afternoon, the Xfinity race, so I'll be probably in the grandstands watching. But I know Coach is so involved with all the grandkids. I remember Stefan went to school with Jackson, one of JD's sons that plays at Appalachian, and they played Little League football. So Stefan played against a team when he was in 6th or 7th grade that was coached by Joe Gibbs and JD Gibbs. Yes.
They must have been pretty good.
At 6th or 7th grade.
Let's get an update on the leader. Jamie.
Well, we heard about the team restart coming for Corey Heim in the 20 and Drew Dollar in the 15. There's a little bit of, I'm not going to say distrust, but they're still thinking about whether or not this is what's going to play out here. They're telling Corey, you've got to get a good start. There is no wasting time. Make sure you get to the start-finish line, though, before you drop down low. You cannot go too low, too early, but you got to go when I say go.
I have nerves for them. Just all those things that you're thinking of. I get one shot at this. Don't mess it up.
Yeah, you don't want to be the guy that screws it up. But, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, the teammate restart deal, I mean, they've probably never done one before. It is hard to execute right. You know, last year in the Xfinity Series, me and Cindric were the only two Fords, and we would try to do it a lot. It took us 3 or 4 times just to be able to do it. And it sounds like we got something on the 15 down to Kate.
Yeah, what Jamie Howe was saying, them trying to get Corey Heim ready for this restart. Same thing is happening with Drew Dollar. One of the things Billy Venturini, his crew chief, is saying is save all that fuel. One thing to note, though, Billy Venturini then jumped over to Channel 2 to his whole team and said, I don't care who wins, but I want it to be my team, Venturini Motorsports.
Well, Corey did do his part. He went to the outside for this restart. We'll see how it works. Sometimes, as you mentioned, Chase, when you try to do this, then you're really too slow, and it gives that second row a real opportunity to make something happen.
Yeah, for sure. Or Drew Dollar wants to win the race just as bad as Corey Heim does, and he doesn't let you in. So it's a tough situation to be in, and I'm excited to see how this turns out. Going back to Coach Joe, though, if Ty ends up winning this, where does this stack up on Joe's win list?
Between Super Bowl 2 and 3, maybe, or wins?
Daytona 500
Daytona 500 wins, championships. It'll be big. I know that.
It's pretty awesome. Coy Gibbs, Ty Gibbs' son, I'm sure watching somewhere. He kind of stays quiet, stays out of it. Lets Ty run it, you know, with his own team. Doesn't want to be too fatherly in this situation. Wants the team to control what Ty Gibbs is doing and his game plan. Ty, by the way, right now running 5th. Corey Heim on the outside. Drew Dollar. Brett Holmes in 3rd. And Lancaster in 4th.
I think I like that outside line. Obviously, when they take off at 70 miles an hour, that aero situation that the 15 have isn't going to be as prevalent. But the faster they go, the more that aero deficiency is going to hurt that car.
The one thing, too, here to keep in mind is really the people in the second row are going to dictate who wins this race right here. So it's going to be very crucial if the 23 or the 29 who gives the better push.
All right, we're in overtime. We get one shot at it. Pace car continues to lead as he drops down, takes that hard left.
That's our leader on the left, Corey Heim.
Don't go down too soon here.
Was able to pull it off. He is in front of his teammate. Look at how they're jammed up pushing on the bottom.
You hear him come up through the gears. Good start. Trying to block his teammate Drew Dollar. Drew Dollar with a hard push.
Drew pushed him sideways through 1 and 2.
Here is they're going to get too big of a lead here on Brett Holmes, and he's going to have a huge run here coming off of turn number 4.
Here they come off of turn 4. Last lap. Corey Heim, the 18-year-old, getting hold on, and he does. Corey Heim wins at Daytona. He drove a beautiful race.
Boy, they orchestrated that restart perfectly.
They did it perfect. They definitely proved me wrong. And happy crew, obviously, to win at Daytona. It's the dream. Everybody gets to grow up in racing. They dream of getting just to race here, let alone win here. Billy Venturini's made a really good habit of winning here, so it's cool to see them guys do it. You know, an 18-year-old like Corey Heim to be able to come here, and like we were saying, after Kansas, get rewarded with this race, and now for him to win it, so it's pretty neat.
Baby, you're the winner. You're the winner, big guy. Sooner start and finish line, buddy. Daytona, baby!
Let's take a look at the restart. Corey Heim on the outside.
I thought he was going to pull down too early like Chase was talking about, but as soon as you get by the start-finish line, you're allowed to pull down and change lanes. He did that just perfectly.
Huge push there from the 23, on to Drew Dollar, and almost turned him sideways. But yeah, Corey Heim did that was perfect. I mean, you could not have done that any better. The clearance they had, it was literally by an inch to get down, and really a great job by the spotters as well to orchestrate that. And for both drivers to, obviously stay committed to each other and get Billy Venturini another win.
What a special day for Corey Heim. This Toyota organization that got behind him and said, you proved to us you can win. We're going to give you a shot full time. And what a way to kick it off. He's going for the championship. So there's a lot on the line. And to start your year off to win the biggest race of the year for the ARCA Menards Series is pretty special.
And how about Drew Dollar? He's run 3 Speedway races in the ARCA Menards Series, 3rd, 1st, and 2nd.
Pretty good. I think if I'm racing, I want to be around Drew Dollar.
I want to give a shout out to Kyle Sieg. Pretty cool for him to come back and finish 5th. He was kind of under the radar all day long, but a guy that I think has a lot of talent. I'm excited to see where his future holds, and obviously for me to get a race against his brother Ryan last year. Ryan does a lot with a little, so it's cool to see them guys have a good run today.
Come on, Corey, let's see you burn it down.
What a moment for this 18-year-old.
He's a quiet kid, a humble kid. Ty Gibbs, the other 18-year-old. He brought it home 4th today.
We'll be talking a lot about those 2 18-year-olds all year long in the ARCA Menards Series.
Our cameraman, Jake, best in the business right there. He gets those beautiful shots when you guys win a race. Chase, he gets in there, gets that burnout shot.
He does an awesome job, that's for sure. It's always cool to see the angles that these guys come up with. And Corey's got a unique situation here. He could go do like a slip and slide victory celebration into the grass or the water here. So I'm excited to see what he does.
Take your pick, right? All the hard work.
And it goes to show you that Toyota knows what they're doing. They saw something in this young man. He won that race at Kansas. He said, you're going to be our guy going for the championship here in the ARCA Menards Series.
One thing, too, to point out for this championship battle that's going to be neat is, this is the one place you can lose a lot of points quick because of how big the field is. So
let's hear from our winner. Kate, take it away.
As Corey Heim is climbing out of that truck, I don't know if he's trying to let this sink in that you have just now won Daytona, your 2nd win in ARCA Menards, but really what is the strategy behind it all came down to that last restart. You guys executed perfectly behind the wheel. What was going on in your head?
Yeah, like you mentioned strategy, I got to give it all to Shannon Rush. He made the perfect call, executed this race perfect, and hands down to him. He dialed this JBL Camry in perfect, and I can't get enough thanks to Toyota Racing, Venturini Motorsports, JBL, all the guys who make it happen.
You helped Venturini Motorsports get their 4th win here in a row in Daytona. You were working with your teammates hard there at the end. How important and critical is that camaraderie being built on that team?
Yeah, I got to give a lot of props to Drew Dollar. He really held me there at the end, just him being right behind me. I know he's got a little bit of experience, and he just raced the truck race too, so really trusted him and paid off.
Corey, how do you think this will change your career?
For the better only. There's only one direction that can go, so just really blessed to be here, and like I said, thanks to everyone at Toyota Racing, JBL, Venturini Motorsports, make it happen.
Coming on board full-time, Corey Heim is going to celebrate his 1st Daytona, his 2nd win in the ARCA Menards Series.
Congratulations. Congratulations to Corey Heim, who, by the way, won today in Drew Dollar's equipment from last year. We'll hear from more drivers at Daytona. The day belonged to Corey Heim. Congratulations to him. Let's hear from our second place finisher. He's standing by with Jamie.
And making this second place finish even more impressive for Drew Dollar is the fact that with 42 laps to go, he did not have power steering. So he finished out this race working pretty hard. You executed that team restart there. How difficult is that to take a step back as the driver for the greater good of the team?
Yeah, I mean, I felt like that was really all we could do there. We had a super fast Camry today. Just didn't really have what it took to win once we had damage, and had a little bit of a tire rub. Just wanted to get to the end. It was tough without any power steering, but just can't thank everyone enough, Toyota and Sunbelt Rentals, for helping me get here.
It's going to be a long season. This is the first race of it. What did you learn about the competition for 2021?
Yeah, it's going to be tight. I think it might be a little tougher than last year. We got a lot of young guys out here without much experience, so it's going to be interesting to watch, and hopefully we get all our teammates just we'll be smart for the next one.
Interesting and exciting. Nice job today. Let's go to Kate.
Yeah, Ty Gibbs finishing fourth. Right before I walked over, though, he was having a conversation with Brett Holmes. What was happening within that conversation?
You know, we were just talking about just the stuff that's kind of happened in the past week. You know, it's just frustrating to just kind of come out here and run fourth when even if you have a shot to win. And especially if you let your buddy in. I feel like if I did that, I would even want to be out here letting people in to win the race. Just completely gave it away there. So it's just frustrating. And the way this package is, you can hardly push, and you can't really get to the bumpers. So and then you're not allowed to lock bumpers, and they did. And then we got penalized 80 laps later the other night. So it's frustrating. Just kind of see what side to play on. I don't really know what to do to get ARCA to like me at this point, but you know, I'm having a fun time. I'm learning a lot, which is good, and I'm gonna keep grinding at it, and we can go race at a real racetrack in Phoenix. So I'm excited for that.
You know, Ty, I know that you have a lot of fans out there as well. I've seen your gear out there, so you do have some people that like you. One thing their team was saying though was stay focused. So you did learn some during this race. What were some other takeaways?
You know, my team's always keeping me, my spotter Hal's always making sure I'm good on my switches and making sure everything's set right and the seatbelts are tight, which you definitely need here with the people here. So they just did a good job. That's all I really can say. My Monster Energy Toyota Camry is fast, but I guess I need some teammates and some people that don't really want to win before I can win. So that's the only thing I can say.
Well, that's Ty Gibbs for you guys. Jamie Howe, let's give Brett Holmes a story.
Okay, you mentioned that conversation they were having here on pit lane following the checkers. Brett, for you, you said you want to say a couple of things too. How did the race unfold inside of your helmet?
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, it's just it's extremely tough. You know, when they're there at the end and there's two guys playing strategy and their teammates, and you know, they can kind of really decide the race for the rest of us. And you know, we did all we could there. We qualified 15th, made it through the field, missed some good wrecks, and did everything right we needed to do. And you know, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know the rule on locking bumpers or not. I don't, you know, I haven't read it black and white myself, but you know, if they did, and if it's in the rules, it's wrong. If they didn't, then that's fine. But you know, I just have to go back and watch it. But aside from that, this is one of our best super speedway races, and I want nothing more to win one of these races. That's why I came back this year to run a few after we won the championship, and we'll be back at Talladega to try again.
Underneath all of those long caution periods, I know it's difficult to stay within a rhythm. Inside of your car, what was it you were dealing with? What did you want to improve on?
You know, I wasn't really doing much. You know, honestly, we were just keeping it clean and staying away from wrecks. You know, I think if you hold out there and stay clean, everything kind of unfolds for you. So that's what happened. We got into the top 5 and had really good restarts on the bottom. Luckily, we got the bottom lane and just kept chugging along there. And my team brought a beautifully fast car, and it just didn't get to show for it in qualifying the way we have this format and the way the end of the race played out. But we had undoubtedly one of the strongest cars at the end of the race, and appreciate Southern States Bank for coming on with us this year. And you know, like I said, we'll be back to get some more checkers hopefully.
It's Brett Holmes finishing inside the top 5. Let's go to Kate.
Derek Lancaster tying his best finish in his ARCA career, his 6th race, a 6th place. But Derek, you got in the car and said that was a lot for a 48-year-old. A lot of hurry and wait, you mentioned. Why?
Well, you just got to be very patient. You know, we got a spotter like Coleman Pressman, a crew chief on the box like Marcus Richmond. You know, all my guys are volunteer. Nobody is paid. You know, we all have full-time jobs, and we do this as a hobby. You know, there's a lot of people that put a lot of effort into this. Don Akers, he works on this thing day in and day out. You know, like I said, RGM Erectors is one of my sponsors, been a long-time sponsor out of Withville, Virginia. American Wrecker Sales, I buy a lot of my tow trucks through them. Absolute Construction out of Christiansburg, Virginia is my son-in-law's company. We got, I'm trying to think who else come on board with us. New River Recycling, Bobby, longtime friend, my friend Tam Topham at Mark IV. You know, we all lost a very good friend out of our area last week, Mark Huff, and it's just something everybody needs to think about. Not every day's promised, and we all just need to be thankful for what we have and thankful for what we can get. And, you know, this right here may not be a win, but to us it is a win. This is for my grandbaby. I had a grandbaby born almost 3 weeks ago. Berkeley, this one's yours.
Derek, goosebumps out of that. Thank you so much. Congratulations on that 6th place. Jamie, Phil, Chase, that's what this is all about, those little victories for these people as well.
So many storylines from top to bottom. Great job by Derek Lancaster. We'll be back to Daytona to wrap things up after this. Welcome back to Daytona International Speedway. Gotta love that drone footage. Giving us a little lap around the track. See Lake Lloyd in there. What an exciting race today. It gave us plenty of Reese's Sweet Move of the race candidates, I guess you could call him here, Phil.
How about Brett Holmes, that white car getting through? We're going to ride along with him. His spotter said, just wait till they stop wrecking and then go. That's exactly what he did. That was definitely a sweet move.
Remember, you have to vote. We ask you to log on to the ARCA Menards Series Twitter page. It's at ARCA_racing. Vote for your favorite move of the race.
Pretty sweet move right here. The orchestrated restart, the final restart. Corey Heim jumps in front of his teammate. Drew Dollar pushes him all the way to the backstretch, and they go on to finish 1-2. Pretty sweet move there.
That was the winning move. I would say that's the pretty sweetest, move of the race. But you can vote. Be sure you do. Love that at the end. Corey Heim getting a win at Daytona. Let's take a look at the Lucas Oil 200 driven by General Tire results.
Such great stories up in the top 10. We talked to Derek Lancaster a few moments ago. Chase mentioned Kyle Sieg. Tanner Gray gets a top 10. How about Andy J? Pizza delivery man finishes 8th.
So good. Jack Wood. I know there were a lot of nerves there to start this race. He's running full-time for GMS Racing. Really good run for him today.
Rich Bickle in his last season racing finishes 15th.
They fixed that car up after a wreck and still came back to finish 15th. Thad Moffitt. His hopes were dashed early on in that 46. Nick Sanchez down there in the 2 is the driver to watch full-time for Rev Racing. Well, today has certainly been fun. There was a lot of action, and the greatest thing is we got the whole race in, and it was drenched, pouring rain 2 hours before we dropped the green flag.
First of all, I was really happy to be here with you. You did such a great job. I'm so proud of you, but what a great ARCA Menards race. This series means so much to me. My brother was a champion back in the late 60s. I love this series, and I love these competitors, and they did a great job today.
And how about Chase Briscoe? Like, he doesn't have enough on his plate, right? He's starting in his Daytona 500. Premiered tomorrow. Chase, thank you so much for being here and all you brought to the broadcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Like Phil said, this series means so much to me. You know, without the ARCA series, there's no way I'm racing in the Daytona 500. You know, Briggs and Beth Cunningham gave me an opportunity in this series, and this series is what grew me into who I am today. So glad to be up here. Glad to be up here with you guys on this historic day with you in the booth, and it was fun. We'll have to do it again.
Thanks, Chase. Okay, this is what I want to know. You know, I'm going to be on pit road covering this race tomorrow, so just give me some intel. What are you going to do with 2 laps to go and you're in the front 2 rows?
Well, I just hope I'm still running with 2 to go, and if I'm in the top 2 rows, then that's going to be even better. So I'm just looking forward to experiencing 500 miles for the first time. The Daytona 500, it's such a big deal. But yeah, I just hope I'm still running at the end of the race, and if we're doing that, then we have a shot to win the thing. So I'm looking forward to hopping in our High Point 4 tomorrow and just having fun and just really savoring the moment.
He'll be in the number 14, of course, because Clint Boyer joins our booth, and hopefully you've been seeing him this week. He is just a barrel of laughs, and we're going to get a lot more tomorrow. And by the way, Chase's boss man, Tony Stewart, coming up after us. He's going to be part of the broadcast team for the Xfinity Series.
That'll be fun. That'll be fun.
Lot to watch for. We'll